Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Professor Dr. Ushaa Eswaran. I'm very happy to take part in this webinar session organized by Dia. And my topic today is public speaking. And this is one of my favorite topic. I would like to introduce myself as well as I would like to share with you for few minutes how I became a public speaker. This was actually when I was studying in school. I used to sing the prayer song for my classmates in the school. For the entire school, I used to sing the prayer song, and I was also a classical dancer. So I performed on stage. So I never used to have stage fear. So I was fascinated by people, who address the audience, or when I see some speakers come and talk to us in the school, I used to get inspired. And one day when I was studying in 8th standard, I asked my mom, I wanted to become a public speaker. What should I do? She said, yes, you have to work on it. You need to work on the language. You need to be good in your vocabulary, and you need to know what is that you're going to talk. There are a lot of things she told me, and I was so thrilled. And I went to my dad and I asked him to give me a write up for my talk. He also wrote me a wonderful speech for a Republic Day function in my school. And you know what happened? I went there, I stood there, I wished everybody, good morning, everybody. I wish you all a very happy Republic Day. And that's all. I got stuck. I didn't remember the next line. Then again, I started wishing everybody, and I said, very good morning to you all, my dear friends, and very happy Republic Day. That's all. Thrice I did that, and I could not remember the third line, what was written by my dad. And I was feeling very ashamed because everybody started laughing. And I came back home and I told my dad, like, no way, I can never become a public speaker. I'm not able to remember whatever I need to speak. So I just can't become one, but I thought I can. So my dad consoled me, and he was asking me, like, what all you did? Why you are not able to recall? Then I said, like, Dad, you wrote me a script and I by-hearted that. And when I went there after wishing them all Happy Republic Day, I didn't remember the third line what you wrote. Then my dad said, like, this is not the way to become a public speaker. You are not going there to by heart and recite whatever you are by hearted. If that is the case, then forget about becoming a public speaker. A public speaker or a person who is going to address the audience should speak from heart, but not by hearting the content. So this is the first advice my dad gave me, and step by step he made me understand, like, how I need to generate ideas, or how I need to understand about the concept of my talk, and how am I going to address the people without any fear. How am I going to see everybody standing there or sitting there without any fear? How am I going to have my eye contact? How am I going to get the next step, the next line, or whatever I'm going to talk, how the flow is going to happen in my talk? And slowly he prepared me for to become a public speaker. Of course, I started speaking in my school, and now I'm a person who can speak in front of any number of people in front of me. And I'm happy to say that I've addressed more than 30 lakhs of people. So there is a way for everything. And if you wish, yes, you wanted to become one, and if you know and learn the way, definitely anybody can become a public speaker. Because when I can become one, why not you? So that is what I thought. I can just share um, um, some of my tips, what my dad told me, and whatever I'm following. Because every day, every time when I start speaking, I learn. It's not that I'm perfect. every day. Whatever mistakes I do, I correct for the next time. And this is how I'm so confident and fearless. First of all, I do have fear before the speech, but when I'm into it, when I start speaking, I don't know where it vanishes. And that's how it goes. And I feel so proud whenever I complete every day's speech. So that is what I thought. Yes, whatever little I know, I thought I can share with you through the webinar. And the students or the parents or the business people or the team leaders or the trainers or whoever it may be, you may have to address a group of people, and it's very, very simple and very easy if you're going to follow the methodology. And let me tell whatever I know, and if you feel you can add some more points at the end of the webinar, I'll be very, very happy to learn from you all. And now let me share my PPT. Is my PPT visible? Any one of you? Okay, let me take that it is visible, and let me take over the session. So I've been telling you that today's my topic is public speaking. And I'm Dr. Ushaa Eswaran, and quickly I will introduce myself. I'm an engineer basically with electronics and instrumentation, BE and ME, and a doctorate in electronics and communication engineering. I'm also a chartered engineer, and I was a planning board member at Trivandrum University. And I can proudly say I'm a motivational speaker, women's rights activist, entrepreneur, educationist, career analyst, parenting coach, leadership coach, public speaking coach, human behavioral expert, transformational facilitator, NLP master practitioner, emotional intelligence practitioner, and a professional certified life skill coach. And I have over 30 plus years of experience in the field of education, and I have addressed more than 30 lakhs of people, and I have trained more than lakh of students and placed more than 10,000 students and counseled more than 10 lakh women. And today, in the agenda of public speaking, I would like to talk about introducing public speaking, evolution of public speaking, overcoming fear of public speaking, components of a successful speech, the 3 P's of a successful speech, and the performance. And I feel that some of you who are attending here in the webinar already you're a public speaker, and you are fearless and you can address any large audience. I'm definitely sure some of you may be like that, or if some of you are yet to start, like how I was when I was in my 8th standard, some of these students who are willing to start their career as a public speaking, or we will have a mixed audience. For all of you, I would like to say that this session may give you some of the takeaways, like you can once you complete the session and take away some of the important points which I would like to share with you, you will be able to connect with your audience and dramatically improve your speaking presence, overcome public speaking anxiety, respond appropriately to your audience needs, hone your non-verbal communication skills. This is one of my favorite. The body language is very, very important for a speaker. And add a visual dimension to your presentation, capture your listeners' attention and interest, create a killer business presentation step by step, and avoid common yet costly public speaking mistakes, because we need to avoid the mistakes. Only then we will be able to become a good public speaker. So let me start with the introduction. So what does it say? Like, nothing in life is more important than the ability to communicate effectively. So public speaking should also be taken in that way, that yes, I'm going to share my thoughts. I'm going to share my ideas. I'm not going to do anything big. Magically, I'm not going to do anything, but I'm going to make people understand whatever I would like to communicate. So this communication is what plays a major role in this public speaking. So whether your goal is to enhance your professional growth, take your business to the next level, or inspire, persuade, and motivate other people to follow your lead, you will have to learn how to convey your idea in front of a group of people in a clear, structured, and captivating manner. So, this is very, very important. Whatever we speak, it should be clear, clear, clear. That's very, very important. And the person who is sitting in front of you should be convinced with whatever you say. So these are all some of the important things which this communication or this public speaking or session may try to give you as an input. So public speaking is an act of presenting an idea to the public using your voice, and the public can range from a very small group of people to a huge audience. And for most people, the bigger audience equates to more fear, but some people are just as terrified as presenting to a smaller group also. That is how I started. I just can't speak in front of 4 people also, but once you know the knack of public speaking, I think you can address to any number of people. It may be 100, it may be 10, it may be 1,000, it may be lakh or more than that. Irrespective of the number, you will be able to speak up. And also, this may be for your job interviews or a conference calls, meetings, product presentations, workshops, or public events. We can call all these things also as a public speaking. Whether your goal is to enhance your professional growth, that's what I said. However, you wanted to take this opportunity of public speaking, you wanted to grow in your profession, or you wanted to take your business to the next level, or you want to inspire some people or persuade. It may be a marketing meeting or a sales meeting, or you're going to convert them into something or motivate other people. This is what is my cup of tea. Actually, I love to motivate people, and when I speak to them, I see that they come out of the depression and they get superb energy when they leave my session. So that was what I love to look upon from my audience. So developing your communication skills and learning to speak in public, it will open up new opportunities for career advancement. It positions you as an authority. It sets you apart from your competition. It attracts the right customers to your business, and it presents technical or business information effectively, and it produces a faster sales cycle also. And also, it may allow you to effectively market your business or promote your products to larger audiences. It improves your internal communication, and it helps you to easily assume leadership and train others, and it increases employees' productivity and prepares you for spontaneous speaking challenges. Any moment they call you to come and address, you should be able to do that. No preparation is required. If you're asked to give a talk in a short notice also, you should be able to give a talk. And it establishes greater credibility and helps your clients' loyalty, and motivates and persuades other people to reach and attain professional goals, and makes you a desirable guest on local, regional, and national conferences, seminars, and public speaking events. People will be looking, whom can I call? Who will be able to address the public? Who will be able to talk to the audience according to the needs of the audience? How they can inspire us? So this is what is the need of the hour. And the benefits, you can call number of things, like you will have increased confidence, improved communication skills, increased organization skills, greater social influence, enhanced ability to listen, greater possibility of meeting new people, lesser anxiety and fear when speaking in front of others, improved memory and enhanced persuasion ability, and also greater control over your emotions and body language. So this is what you're going to get, the benefits, if you're good at public speaking, or if you're going to understand how I can become a public speaker. So now, let me start with the evolution of public speaking. What is public speaking? Public speaking is a process, an act, and an art. This is one thing which I would like to specify. This is an art of making a speech before an audience. That is the underlining word here, art of making a speech before an audience. People should mesmerize whoever is there in front of you. They should get mesmerized, they should get inspired with whatever you say. So that is what is the art of making everybody listen to you, everybody get mesmerized with you. They'll forget everything other than your speech and the gestures, the body language, the stories, whatever you say. That is what should remain in their mind when they leave that place. So that is what I call it as an art. It's really an art, and absolutely everyone from the age of 10 to 90, we would have found ourselves in these situations where we have had to speak publicly. Every one of us have got this opportunity in one way or the other. So we need to know what are the three main key elements to convince the audience or communicate or to become a good public speaker. Number one is ethos. This is nothing but the credibility or the speaker. Number two, logos. This is the logic behind any conclusions drawn by the speaker. And then comes the pathos, that is emotional appeal or ability to create connection between the speaker and his audience. So this is very, 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 very important thing we should understand. The three things, that is ethos, logos and pathos. So what do they mean actually? See, when we talk about this ethos, first, in order to be asked to share your thoughts, observations and ideas, we are going to share all these things as a speaker publicly. We, as a speaker, should possess a certain level of authority and knowledge about a chosen topic. This is very, very important. So credibility or the speaker, the knowledge what the speaker possesses. And second one is logos, to make sure that the message is received and understood correctly by the audience, and it has to be conveyed in a clear, informative and a logical manner. It's not that whatever you speak people will listen. It should be logical and people should accept. They should feel that there is some information in your speech. And third one is pathos. This is adding to capture and hold the audience attention. My dear ladies and gentlemen, if I am giving a talk for 3 minutes or 30 minutes or 3 hours, will I be able to capture the attention of the audience? That makes my speech successful. I should be able to capture and hold the audience attention, and the speaker must first establish an emotional connection with the listeners. This is what is the ultimate thing which we need to concentrate when we become a public speaker. Whether we are able to capture the attention of the audience, whether they are getting distracted, whether they are listening to us or talking among themselves, that is very, very important. Next, very, very important thing which I am going to talk to you now is overcoming the fear of public speaking. My dear ladies and gentlemen, you know how difficult it is to become a public speaker in the beginning, not on the later stages. When somebody calls you and come and stand in front of the audience and speak out, even you can't utter your name. Sometimes we will have so much of fear, we will start shivering, we will not even able to speak out, we can't even say our name. We will be shaking and we will be vibrating actually. When we go in front of the mic, we will hold the mic to feel that we are not shaking, we are not showing off here. Lot of experiences we will face. So according to a survey, what happened? People used to say that fear of public speaking, which is called as glossophobia, this ranks among the top dreads, surpassing the fear of heights, fear of spiders, and even fear of death itself. We all fear for death. We all fear for heights. We all fear for spiders. But the survey says fear of public speaking ranks the topmost compared to any other fear. So is it that difficult? People may be thinking like, is it that difficult? Why should we fear for this? Why are we not able to speak fluently? Why are we getting this threat of standing in front of the audience? So overcoming the fear of public speaking is very, very important. And what can we do to transform the fear of public speaking into an enthusiasm and a positive energy? So this is very, very important thing which we need to understand. And once we understand that, once we are able to overcome this problem, then we are going to rock. We are going to become a public speaker, and we are going to be happy doing that also. So the hidden psychology behind the fear of public speaking, the psychologists, what do they say? They know that the very fact of being in the spotlight often triggers the whole range of physical reactions that we would experience in the face of real life-threatening danger, as pounding heart, dry mouth, shaky hands, quivering voice, cold sweaty palms, and stomach cramps. I'm sure every one of us would have experienced this, in the school. The teacher may call the student to come and stand in front of the class and ask the student to say something, or say a story, or sing a song, or ask a question and ask the student to reply, or give a speech on something. We would have experienced, every one of us would have experienced. Not only that, we would have experienced all these things, the fear. Whatever, we would have had shaky hands, we would have got cold, sweaty palms, and stomach cramps, all these things we would have experienced. And accepting our fear helps us to take proactive steps in addressing stage fright and letting the adrenaline rush work for you, not against you. See, when you go and stand in front of public, definitely this adrenaline rush will happen. But we need to make use of that adrenaline rush as an energy, and it should not become your fear. It should not damage, or it should not stop you from going ahead in your public speaking. And now we are going to talk about some of the myths. People feel myth number 1 is great public speaking skills are an inborn talent. People feel that only if you are talented, if you are born for it, you will be able to do it. I can vouch that no, this is just a myth, and it is not at all true. Some people, of course, find it easier to speak in public. I do agree with that. But some of them, and majority of them, or majority of the successful speakers, have trained themselves to perform through persistence, preparation, and practice. So the bottom line is that if you can speak in front of 2 friends, you can deliver a presentation before an audience. Believe me, my dear ladies and gentlemen, because I'm the one example for you who is standing in front of you or sitting in front of you, saying that yes, I have been thrown out of a public speaking event where I cannot speak in front of my own classmates. But it is only a myth that you should be having an inborn talent. You can anytime you can practice, and you can become a public speaker. Coming to our myth 2 is fear of public speaking is negative and undesirable. This is another common misconception that holds many new speakers to stay back. They believe that stage fright is a sign of their inadequacy and lack of public speaking skills. This could not be further away from truth. Every time I get fear, but because of my fear only I will perform better. So that is what is my experience. And It is the fear that allows most speakers to perform better during the actual presentation than during practice. When I'm practicing or when I'm preparing my notes, I may not have that fear, but when I go and stand in front of a public, definitely I'll have fear. But I will try to convert that fear into my energy and make it positive. And the fear of public speaking should not turn into an obstacle to your professional and personal growth. It is much easier to build a business or to advance in your career when you're able to speak with confidence and authenticity to any size of group. So you have to believe that yes, once you may have the fear, next time you may do better, next time you may do better, and one fine day, all your fears will vanish and convert into a great big energy for you to face the public. So transform it into an unshakable confidence. You need to transform your public speaking fear into an excitement also, and you need to convert that into a big confidence. Yes, I can do it. What is there in that? Let me try. It is my day. So that should be the positive attitude which should develop in you so that you will be able to achieve anything. Now let me talk about the 5 practical ways to transform it into an unshakable confidence and excitement. First point I would like to tell you is deep breathing. See, strong emotions such as anxiety and fear trigger in your body. It will happen from within. Everything will happen from within. You will not be able to control it. You will be having a fight or flight response with your muscles getting tightened up, and your heart rate will increase, your blood pressure goes up, and your breathing becomes shallow. Even your voice will not come out. I have experienced all those things. While this physical reaction may be helping in escaping danger, it is hardly helpful during the presentation. So what you have to do is you need to practice deep breathing. Deep breathing will definitely relax your muscles, relax your shakiness, relax your sweating, and you will feel slowly you will feel better. So this is the first and foremost thing which you have to do. If you feel tensed, you practice this deep breathing, because this is going to control your emotions and will help you to regain confidence. And next one is shifting the focus outwards. Many of us will focus only on our fear. Many of us will focus only on the shaking and the sweating, or all those pounding heart and all those things. We should shift even that fear into a different level of shifting it to our energy, how we can perform well with that fear. So that is what is going to help you to perform better. And this problem could be easily avoided by shifting focus from how we feel or look to the message we want to share with our audience. So our focus should be only on what we are going to talk, because I know what I'm going to talk. I'm prepared that very well. Then why should I worry? Why should I focus on my fear, feeling that I will not be able to perform well? So that negative focus should be converted into a positive energy and confidence. Yes, regain your confidence. Third one is visualizing. Visualizing is something which I used to do, because I have heard athletes used to follow this. See, athletes will always visualize as if they have won it. They used to think in future. Yes, if I do this properly, I'm going to win. I'm going to wear a gold medal. I'm going to stand on this podium. I'm going to get all the applause from the audience. So this sort of visualization, I used to bring it in my speech. So I used to visualize, yes, I have done my speech well. I have spoken well. I have convinced, I have inspired the audience sitting in front of me. I have conveyed the message in a right way. And everybody liked my speech. Everybody is coming and appreciating me. So this sort of visualizing has helped me to perform well in front of the audience. Then focusing on the facts and not fears, especially the focus is very very important. If you focus on your fear, you will forget what you want to talk. If you focus on your fact, then you will start forgetting your fears. So this I have experienced, and instead of focusing on fears, I have practiced my speech well many times. So why should I fear? Let me recall what are all the facts I'm going to deliver in my speech. So I would shift my focus on the facts and not on the fears. And then building your speech on clarity and not on complexity. So this is another thing which we need to understand. And while it is often tempting to include as much useful information in your speech as possible, many people will think, in this speech I should tell what all I know. I have done that. I am telling you all this because of my experience. I wanted to tell everything, whatever I know. But don't do that. Limit into 3 or 4 main points, and it will allow you to relax and not worry so much about running out of time or forgetting whatever you need to speak. So limit your points, limit the focus areas, and concentrate on what you need to speak and do it in a better way. So these are the points which I follow, and I think I have explained it to you. Then coming to the components of a successful speech, because that is very very important. The success of your presentation will be judged not by the knowledge you sent, but by what the listener receives. See, whatever we speak, people will not listen. You need to speak what they will listen. So this is what I again would like to say, that it is an art, because we need to know who is our audience and what is that they wanted to hear. What is that will attract them? What is that they will be interested to hear from you? So that is what is the art of a speaker. We need to know what is that we are going to deliver and how it is going to reach the public and what is that they are going to take away from the session. So the components of a successful speech should contain, number 1, storytelling. Storytelling is very, very important in a public speech. Everyone loves to listen to stories, my dear ladies and gentlemen. If you explain a concept to a child also, the child will better understand if you are going to narrate it in the form of a story. And if you are going to give an analogy, the child will remember the analogy pretty well compared to the facts and figures, whatever you are going to teach. So the best way to reach the public or make them understand or retain whatever you have spoken is by storytelling. And many leaders and managers, they avoid storytelling in their presentations. I have seen they want to be purely professional. They don't want to relax the audience or themselves also. They don't want to relax. They don't want to go little informal, non-formal also. They want to be purely formal. But take my words, my dear ladies and gentlemen, I have been successful just because of the storytelling. So storytelling is a good idea and it should be relevant to whatever subject we are speaking. So that is very, very important. And if we are going to add this, definitely that is going to help you. Then the body language, tone of voice, pauses, visual cues. So these are all the components of a successful speech. You have to make sure that you bring 1 or 2 stories relevant to the topic you're talking, and you have to Be very controlled body language relevant to whatever you're speaking, with gestures and your expressions, your eye contact, and everything in your face and the body language when you're going to walk and talk, or you're going to stand in front of the podium, or if you're going to use your hand gestures, whatever it may be, you have to be very careful in your body language. And also the tone of voice. This is very, very important. The pitches, the pauses, and also the visual cues. If you're going to use a presentation, you have to be really, really careful. So here you have to make statistical data, graphics, and facts more vivid and interesting if you are using a presentation. Then relieve tension. Make important points of the presentation memorable, and establish a connection with the particular audience, and emphasize the message, and introduce controversial issues, and encourage thinking, shape people's beliefs, and raise the energy level of the group, and motivate people to act. So this is very, very important. And coming to the storytelling can be defined as a structured narrative account of real or imagined events that is widely used in public speaking as a medium for sharing, interpreting, and offering the content of the story to the listeners. Many of them, they will talk about their own experience. As I started with a story of my own, how I became a public speaker, how it all started, what are all the mistakes I did. You can personalize, and sometimes you can even bring in someone else's story too. And do's and don'ts of storytelling. So not every story will grab your audience attention and interest, my dear ladies and gentlemen. And there are some important points that we need to bring into consideration when we are choosing the right story for our speech. So what are all the do's, what we can do? Always make your story relevant to the subject at hand. And keep your story simple and short. Don't complicate. You may bring 10 character names. The people will not be able to understand and relate. So you have to be very careful. Eliminate inconsequential detail and space stories at intervals to re-emphasize your message. Don't keep on continuously spend your time telling stories. You have to space the stories in such a way in different intervals in order to re-emphasize your message, and make sure the plot of the story involves a lesson or a transformation outcome that your listeners can relate to and benefit from. And use appropriate body language and facial expressions to convey emotions to your listeners, and use elements of the story that your audience can relate to. If you are sitting in India and you're talking about a Japanese culture or a Chinese culture or something, Rome or Italy, where people cannot relate and connect, so they will not be able to understand what you're trying to say. So you have to bring your story where the audience can relate and connect to. So these are all some of the do's. And coming to the don'ts, what is that we should not do? Do not use more than 2 or 3 stories on the same topic, as each successive one will lose its impact. So we cannot just push into so many stories. 1 or 2 or maximum 3, not more than that. And do not use terms that are foreign to the experience of the audience. So try to talk to them in their language and their culture based on the audience. You should use the terms, and do not fill stories with too many characters, events, or details, because they cannot visualize, they cannot connect, they cannot remember. You keep saying 10 names in your story, they will not be knowing what is this, what did he do, what is he trying to say. So this sort of confusions will come. So you have to be really careful on that. And next important thing, which I also love to have a control over this, that is body language. Many of us do not understand that our body communicates to people. That is why we call it as a non-verbal communication. Sometimes it may communicate in a positive way, and sometimes it may communicate in a negative way also. And sometimes you speak something and your body language says something and it will be contradictory also. So you have to be very, very careful. You are telling a joke, and if you are very serious, it will not match. Or if you are saying something sad and you are smiling and laughing and saying, again it will not match. So you have to be very careful while using your body language. And this is the process of non-verbal communication, when our physical, mental and emotional states are manifested through conscious and unconscious body movements and gestures. So this is what I said. Consciously, we may have some body language, but we have to focus more on unconscious body languages or movements. Because without our knowledge, we may be communicating to the audience. So better you take some videos of your initial public speaking events and observe what sort of body language you are using in your talk. And it means that in many professional and personal situations, what you say may have a lesser impact on your listeners than how you say it. This is very, very important. And your postures, my dear ladies and gentlemen, I have seen many people, leaning on the podium or leaning on the wall when they are describing or presenting a presentation or something. So you have to be really, really careful on your posture. Keep a relaxed and upright posture. Do not lean or grip the lectern. Avoid shifting your weight from one foot to the other. Have you seen this happening from many people? They'll be standing in one leg and then moving their weight onto the next foot and then coming here, going there. All these things show that you're nervous. People will read from your body language that yes, this person is not confident and he is nervous. And then your arms, while on stage, be careful of using hand gestures that reveal anxiety, such as you have to be careful. We may reveal to the audience clenching your hands together, clutching notes, fiddling with your clothing, hiding your hands in your pockets. Just recall all these things we will be doing because we don't want the people to see that our hand is shaking. And we don't want the people to know that our legs are shaking. So we try to do something or the other, and our concentration will now come from focus to the fact and figures speech to our body language. We will start focusing on how how we are keeping our hands, how we are standing, and all these things will distract you from your speech. So you have to be really, really careful. Then coming to the next very important thing, that is facial expression. So smile. When it comes to establishing a connection with your audience, my dear ladies and gentlemen, and winning their admiration, there is nothing more effective than a genuine smile. And as a speaker, you should be the first one to demonstrate your sympathy and interest in your audience. So you have to smile wherever it is necessary. Next, coming to the tone of voice. As I told you, the modulation in your voice is very, very important. You cannot talk like a robot. You need to have emotion. You need to feel and talk. You need to show all your expressions through your modulations that you have in your talk. So talk low, talk slow, and don't talk too much. So this is a quotation from John Wayne. So what we would like to talk, it should be limited and it should be on a pace where people can understand and they should be able to retain it in their mind. Then a speaker's confidence, emotional state and attitude is often revealed in the tone of voice. So you are not aware of it, but the people who are listening to you will be clearly understanding your confidence level, your emotional state and your attitude through the tone of voice. In the area of public speaking, your voice becomes a powerful instrument that allow you to engage, charm, and encourage your audience to listen. See, it should be in such a fashion where it should be soothing them to listen. It should not be like a hammering on their head. It should be so sweet, so soft, with a lot of motivation and also clarity in your speech. And also, it should make them feel light, and it should make them feel like listening to a song, like how they will listen to a song, like they'll feel so relaxed, and they'll feel so nice. So that's such a charming and encouraging way we need to use our tone of voice, so that it will encourage the audience to listen to you. And in fact, the tone of voice accounts for approximately 33% of the transmitted message, while the actual words that you say are responsible for only 7% of communication. The same thing happens, even you can test the same thing in your office. You are there as a boss and you have someone as a colleague or your team member. Try to modulate, try to use the best tone of voice and see how best it gets communicated. Same thing you can try with your children too. I have tried talking to my son in different tone of voice, and I have captured in which way if I talk, I will be able to communicate whatever I wanted to. So the tone of voice is going to make your relationship better at home and make your audience understand you better, and your team member will listen to whatever you're trying to say, and you will be able to extract good amount of work from your team member or your colleagues too. Then variations. This is another thing which we need to understand, because speakers who talk in a tone with no variations, some people will do that. It will be same level, no ups and no downs, no variations, no music in the sentence whatever they speak. This happens when a public speaker is reading a speech. When there is something written on a paper, and if somebody is reading it through, there won't be much of variations, and they will just read out like a machine or a robot. So this is not going to help the listeners to listen to you. So avoid people dozing off or daydreaming during your talk or your presentation. So you have to capture their attention. So that happens only when you reduce your tone of voice sometimes and increase your tone of voice sometimes, and modulate it based on the content which you are trying to communicate to your audience. Sometimes when your voice becomes low, the audience will try to listen, you're capturing their attention. So there are some ways where you can make the audience get attracted to your speech. Now coming to the 3 P's of a successful speech. This is very, very important, and now let us enter into this important topic of 3 P's of a successful speech. What is that? The first one is preparation, my dear ladies and gentlemen. We all know if we don't prepare our speech well in advance, we will not be able to present it well. The first P is preparation. Some people may think, they have told me also, ma'am, you're just going to talk for 10 minutes. People only see how much time I speak, but what is the amount of time I invest on preparing for that 10-minute speech? So that is very, very important, because the positive outcome of a speech does not depend solely on the oratory skills of a speaker, but it is influenced by many factors such as the topic of the presentation, the attitude of the audience, the quality of the material, the length of the speech, and so on. So preparation is first one, second one is practice, and third one is performance. So this is a very important slide, that if you wanted to become a public speaker, or if you wanted to address your colleagues in your office, if you wanted to have a group discussion, if you wanted to conduct a board meeting, if you wanted to conduct a training, or if you are going to talk to any customer, or you are going to talk to a client, or anything, whatever it may be, preparation, practice, and performance is three important pieces of a successful speech. Now, coming to preparation, only the prepared speaker deserves to be confident. Yes, if you are prepared, then you don't have to worry about anything. As I said, you talk to 3 people, 30 people, 3,000 people, 30,000 people, 3 lakh people, 3 crores of people, doesn't matter. If you are prepared well, you know what to talk, not by hearting, but you know what all you're going to talk, how you're going to talk. If you're prepared well, then you don't have to worry about anything. So let us now talk about vital step before the speech preparation. As I said, it is not that easy because it varies from audience to audience. In order to make your speech both interesting and memorable for the listeners, it is very important to consider 3 key elements. Number 1 is audience. Who is the speech written for? This is very important, my dear ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to listen to you? That is very important. Then purpose. What is the main objective of my speech? So these are very important before you start your preparation. And direction of the speech. How will the speech be presented? How are you going to present it? First, preparation, let us see, finding time to prepare your speech. As I told you, if your presentation lasts 20 minutes, you should block off at least 20 hours for the preparation. Because you need to have a material research, you need to have a presentation development, you need to do the outlining of the speech, you need to do the rehearsal. But people may not know it is just 20 minutes. What is a big deal? But the person who is preparing only will know how much time we have invested on this. 20 hours for 20 minutes of speech. For material research, you need to do an exhaustive research on finding the material which is relevant to the topic as well as the audience. Then presentation development. Suppose if you are going to use a PPT, how it is going to be developed. Then outlining your speech and then the rehearsal. So this is very, very important. So as I said, 1 minute of presentation, we need to do 1 hour of preparation. This is what is the rule. This much time if you invest, only then you will be able to speak for 1 minute with proper content. Then smart speech preparation. What ideas do you want to share with your audience? See, all these things are very, very essential. Once you are going to plan yourself to speak in front of the audience, first of all, what ideas do you want to share? What is that is in your mind? What is that you want to make the people take away from your session? How do you make your presentation memorable? What do you start with? So select your material. This is very, very important. You need to gather as much of information as possible. Whether you go through Google or go through some papers or from a library of books, or you listen to some videos of other people who have spoken, anything it may be, but you need to gather as much information as possible and start with what you already know. And then choose 1 to 3 major points and leave the listeners with insights and think out of box. So this is 5 things which you have to keep in mind when you are selecting your material, and then conduct solid research. You need to be satisfied. Yes, I have done an extensive research. I have collected a lot of material and I am going to select the most important which will suit my audience. So that is how you need to put in a lot of time to make your presentation or prepare your material. Then coming to the Other one, like what you're going to say, the iceberg. Because ideally, you should learn something new from your research, my dear ladies and gentlemen, and adding to the mass of your iceberg knowledge. You know something, I know that. Everybody knows that, but add what you know with what you have learned, and that is what you're going to say. So you may know so many things, but every time you have to add something new. You need to bring something new into your talk and your knowledge, and then you decide what you're going to say to the public. Then map out an outline. This is another very, very important. What I'm going to start, where all I'm going to cover, and how am I going to conclude. Where to start, what ideas to focus on, how to make it work. So that is very, very important. Then coming to the attention grabber. Because my dear ladies and gentlemen, the outline, the speech outline template, it contains 5 main elements. One is attention grabber, next is introduction, then body of the speech, conclusion of the speech, and call to action. So now let us come to the attention grabber. So what is this attention grabber? Attention grabber is an unusual statement, a question, a gesture, a story, a property, or a long pause that is intended to start the presentation on a strong note to grab the audience attention. People should look at you. Yes, he or she has come to say something, eagerly waiting to listen to you. So this is what is the first thing which you have to do. Do you think it is possible to take your company to the next level? You need to think about it. Yes. What is that first attraction I'm going to make? How am I going to bring the audience? How am I going to grab the attention of the audience? So that is very, very important. Next, coming to the introduction part. Introduction is the opening part of your presentation where you start your core message. So in the introduction part, you're going to talk about what is that you're trying to do there in your talk. So this core message is what is your introduction, and list the key points that you would like to talk about in your speech, or name a problem that needs to be solved, and you can write the introduction and make points and remember, okay, one after the other, this is what I'm going to talk to them. So this is very, very important. Then body of the speech. So here comes the main thing, whatever you're going to talk. So this makes up around 70 to 80% of your speech. So there are several options for structuring the elements of the presentation in an organized and a logical manner. First is timeline. The points are arranged in a sequential order. Then culmination. The key points are delivered in an order of increasing importance and cause effect. A problem is presented, a solution is suggested, and benefits are given. Then complexity. The ideas are listed parting from the broad vision to specific details. So these are all very, very important. And then comes the conclusion. Conclusion summarizes the core message of the presentation. It recaps the main points and states the main idea that has been mentioned throughout your talk. Conclusion should take only 5%, maximum 10% of your speech. And just as with the introduction, should end on a strong note. Then call to action. So call to action is the closing punchline of the speech that leaves the audience with something to think about. Yes, when you complete your talk, it should trigger them to think about something. So that is very, very important thing. Then add humor. Create a written draft of your speech and let your personality, your opinions, and even your sense of humor shine through your speech. Many people have this knack. In between they'll bring in some humor and make the audience to relax, and then again they'll go back to their talk. So this is a knack, and this is the one which is a winning point of your speech. Then provide the interesting content to the listeners. And then keep that in mind when writing your presentation, and write as if you had to speak to just one person in the audience, not a faceless mass of people. Avoid hype, big words, and corporate talk for something genuine and meaningful. And your listeners should feel that you're talking to them and not to them, not at them. So when you are talking, addressing somebody, please have an eye contact with the audience. They should feel that you're talking to them, you're communicating with them, you're conversing with them, and not something like talking at them. So that is very, very important. And revise your speech, my dear ladies and gentlemen. After you've finished the draft of your speech, think of how it can be improved even further. And then comes a well-structured speech consists of a core message, visual dimension, smooth presentation flow, elements tied together in a logical and meaningful way. Then presentation checkpoints. These are all the checkpoints. What are all your main ideas? And what are all your supporting ideas? What will you tell the audience to support your main points? Then details and examples. What details or examples do you have? Then visuals. Will you have any visuals to help explain your points? Yes or no? Otherwise, you should create a story in such a way that the audience themselves will visualize. So that is the knack of the speaking. Then practice. If I don't practice the way I should, I won't play the way I know I can. So this is very, 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 very important, and we need to practice it either openly or within our mind. So practicing your speech at least a couple of times before the presentation holds 3 significant benefits. 1, it allows you to discover the awkward phrases and the tongue twisters that are hard to notice when you first write your speech. Sometimes when we recall certain points, we will forget those terminology, the new word if we bring into our speech. We may forget, and sometimes we may be able to read from the paper, but when you speak it will have a tongue twister. So all these problems will arise. So when you are practicing, speak out and see that you're comfortable with the pronunciation and there are no tongue twisters. And also it reduces nervousness and helps to transform anxiety into excitement on the day of your presentation. And also it helps you to gauge your timing. So this is another very, very important thing. We should know how long we are going to talk. Then you may have, some people have these cue cards. I used to have initially, and now mind is my cue card. So it takes some time to develop that practice. So the cue cards may contain the high level speech elements mentioned in our outline, as well as transition phrases, keywords, statistical data, or punchlines that you want to share with your audience. So initially, to start with, you can start having your key cards and tips that will allow you to improve your performance. My dear ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost is relax before you get up to talk. Just relax and enjoy. This is my day. I'm going to rock. So that should be the attitude. Greet your audience with a smile. Take a deep breath and smile. Genuinely smile at the audience, and do not rush through your presentation if you are going to do a presentation. And make yourself be heard. And face your audience at all times and talk to them and not at them. And claim attention, and do not stick your hands in your pockets. So some of the body languages you have to be conscious, and you can take a video of a presentation or a public speech in your house or in your office alone, and then you can make necessary corrections wherever you are making mistakes. tips that will allow you to improve your performances. Do not diminish or underestimate your audience. This is one of the most important thing which we have to remember, because we feel what the audience may know. But don't underestimate your audience, and wrap up your talk on time, and never apologize for anything, and be flexible, be your best self, be relaxed, and connect with people after the presentation. And performance, analyze your performance the day after your presentation. Approach your business presentation with calm clarity, and some take time to reflect. How effectively did you handle nervous tension during your presentation? So you have to reanalyze or reassess how you performed on that day. So what techniques has helped you the most? So make a note of all these things. When did your listeners appear more engaged with your talk? What ideas, images, and stories did they compliment on after the presentation? When were you most engaged with your listeners? How might you deliver the same presentation again based on what you now know? So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have shared all that I know and whatever I've been practicing, and with some creativity, intelligent planning, and consistent practice, absolutely anyone can become a brilliant public speaker. When I can become one, why not you? So, all the best. Every one of you get the feel of becoming a public speaker, because it gives you a tremendous energy, tremendous confidence, and you will feel rocking after your speech, and you'll be flying in the sky. You know, if you have any questions, please ask me. And this is my YouTube channel, where you can see more than 1,500 videos with a lot of motivational stories and lot of career guidance programs, and also the career literacy topics, and lot more. And you can also reach me, and you can contact me through this WhatsApp number too. And thank you so much for listening. And now the forum is open for your questions.
Hi everyone, you can type in your questions in the chat box. Ma'am, Sujit is saying that excellent tips, ma'am, and he's saying thank you to you.
Thank you, Sujit. I wish you practice, and you give me a feedback on how it worked out.
Any other question? Can this slide be shared with us? He's asking.
I'm sorry.
So to answer this, the webinar is recorded and will be shared
Yes.
on Dhia's
Yes,
platform,
of
so
course.
you can
Yes,
watch
yes.
it later
Because
as
it's a
well.
professional training presentation, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Milind is asking how to estimate the audience correctly.
Yeah, when you are see, what I do is, whenever they give me a target, yes, you need to come and address this audience, I ask about a lot of questions. I ask about the audience. I ask about their age, and what do they do, what do they do, and mostly I go for a motivational talk, or for career guidance. So suppose if a school or college is inviting me for a career guidance speech, I should know for which standard of students I'm going to address. What are the subjects they are studying? See, I cannot go and talk about engineering to an arts students, and I cannot talk about commerce opportunities to medical aspiring students. So this type of inquiries we need to collect and make a note of it. Even in motivation talk, I'll try to get the problems what they are facing, because I can address those things in my talk. Otherwise, if I'm going to talk something and the audience is expecting something, it will be irrelevant. There won't be a takeaway. Or if I'm going for some training for a company, again there I will ask for a customized training, so that I will know what is the thing that is lacking in them and what need to be trained or what need to be addressed. So whoever is organizing a talk, we need to understand the audience perfectly. Only then your talk points will be a takeaway for them, and you can also target on what is the need of the audience. So you need to have a complete thorough understanding about the audience. You need to ask the organizers, if at all you're going for a planned talk. And even I have got an experience where I address sometimes without knowing who are my audience. So after going there with my experience, maybe I will be able to change my talk according to the audience.
Hope, Milind, you got your answer. Now, Parth is asking, ma'am, does good communication means just listening more and talking less?
Of course, we say like you communicate well. If you are a good communicator, then you should be a good listener. So that is good. But when we are talking about a public speaker, then you need to speak. Of course, you need to be a good listener too. Suppose if you are asking me a question and I should listen to answer to your question. So it all depends upon what role you are playing. Because if you are working in a company and you're working under a team manager, you should definitely be a good listener rather than talking, because the response whatever you're going to give to your team lead is in the form of your work. So you have to listen to what is the requirement of your team lead, and you're going to give him back a response or an answer in the form of work. So it all depends upon what sort of role you're playing. But as a public speaker, first I should speak and then I need to listen, or I need to listen to people and then based on my experience I need to talk. So communication, definitely you need to be a good listener. You need to understand what people have in their mind. You need to be empathetic. You need to understand and read their expression, especially when we are giving a talk in front of me. If there are people sitting, I should be able to read what is running in their mind about my speech. Sometimes if it is not interesting, then I should be able to understand from their body language, and then I need to convert or change the way or the style of my speech in such a way that I engage everybody in my speech.
Right. So Milind is again asking to continue with that question, how to estimate the audience correctly. He's asking, suppose it is a mixed audience, then how to estimate and how to,
Yeah,
speak.
sometimes you may have mixed audience where you don't know really, some people may not be connected with your talk. Then you can interact with them. You can ask few questions and understand. See, when we talk, you can ask them like how they are understanding or how they are receiving your views, or how they are convinced with what you're talking. See, if it is not whatever you're talking is not relevant to the audience, automatically you can understand them by their body language. Maybe they'll be talking to the person who is sitting next to them, or they will start looking at their mobile phone, or they may get up and go somewhere. So then you can understand that certain points are not engaging the audience. So you can directly ask them like, can you tell me how it fits in your expectation, or what is that you would want me to talk. So that way you can understand on the spot. If you want to prepare, then you need to know 100% about your audience. And if you are prepared, yes, I can handle any type of audience, then you have to change on the spot based on your audience.
Right. Shantanu is saying that I was shy to go to a stage earlier, but I'm feeling confident now. And he's saying thanks to you. Uh, Milind is again saying something. Just for a few minutes, I am looking, uh, dancing of eyes, shaking your hair, smiling. How to get? Oh, okay. He's observing you, and tossing your hair, dancing of eyes, shaking your hair, smiling. So how to get this aptly? So he's asking how to. This is your
See,
body
you are
language. I
when
think he
you
wants to
involve
talk about.
yourself in your talk, when you involve yourself in your talk, you become expressive. See, just observe two people, one person having the script in the hand, and if that person is going to sing, will he or she can express the meaning of the song? Their focus will be only on the lyrics and not in the meaning. Suppose you watch a person who is going to sing, which is there by heart. He or she know the lyrics, and they know the meaning of the lyrics. When they sing, they will just express. If some romantic lyric come, or one joyful thing come, or one sad lyric come, they can mix or overlap their emotion when they are singing. Same thing happens with the speaker also. When I'm narrating something, when I express it with emotions, automatically, naturally, without my knowledge, I'll be expressing, I'll be smiling, I'll be shaking my hands, the gestures, whatever I show, it comes naturally.
Right. So I think Vidya ma'am has raised the question. Yes, Vidya ma'am, you can write in the chat box. Unfortunately, today I cannot unmute you or allow you. I'm so sorry, ma'am. I can't. Yeah, if you can write the question. Milind is finally happy with your answers, ma'am, and he's very, very happy and he's saying thanks to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's wait for Vidya ma'am to type the question.
Yes, yes,
Till
yes.
then, let us look at your smiling face.
See, my concept is I enjoy whatever I do. And I love to
Yeah.
give my best always. I never shy away
See,
because
what I learned from your talk today, if I may say something, share my experience, is when you speak from heart, it comes through your eyes, with your body language, and with the subject knowledge. You had this solid content in your hand to present, and I think a mixture of it all. This is what is good public speaking, isn't it?
yeah, if I'm confident, yes, this is what I'm going to talk. This is known to me. This topic I've experienced, because public speaking is, I've lived in it. That is my life. And I've been aspiring to become a public speaker. So, you know how much I would have involved myself in every
Right.
part of my life in this experience. So, I'm going to share my experience.
Right.
Sharing my experience is something which I love to do. So this will be more expressive compared to any other topic.
Right. So Vidya ma'am is one of the mentors with here, and she's asking this question that does personality has a role to play in public speaking, as they is dealing with understanding other people and then helping them? Are there any personalities for which public speaking could be a challenge?
See, even people who don't affiliate themselves with others can become a good public speaker. I can say anybody, any personality can become a public speaker, because it is an art. If you just learn that art, first thing is you need to have subject knowledge, whichever. Maybe you're going to narrate a story, you don't need to know physics, chemistry, maths, biology, nothing. You are going to share or narrate a crow story, thirsty crow story, which is, everybody knows that. But if you're going to be so expressive in narrating that, so you don't have to search for the content. You know the content. You are very comfortable with the content. Only thing, you're going to be expressive. That comes by practice. So no need to worry. It is all myth that only few people can speak, few people can't do this. It's not like that. Where there is a will, there is a way. So if you are going to sit in front of your child and narrate a story, how will you narrate? The same way, you can be expressive, you can be very, very fearless, and you can tell what you know very well. start with what you know pretty well and improve your body language, improve your tone of voice, improve where you have to give a pause and where you need to add variations and where you need to be expressive, how you need to show your hand gestures. Just simple, small things you learn, you can become a public speaker. So, public speaker need not talk about Mars. You can even talk about the cooking what you do at home. Narrate it in such an expressive way. Oh my god, today I did this sambar rice. It was tasting so nice. The way I say, you feel like, yes, I wanted to taste it now. So that is it. How you express, how you get involved in whatever you're going to say is what is the success of a public speaker.
Wow, superb tip. And Vidya ma'am is saying thanks. I would like to ask if there are any further questions, so we'll take it, or otherwise we'll end it here. Right. So I think, yeah, Milind is saying it was a wonderful talk, ma'am.
Thank
So
you.
again, thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am, for coming up with an such. We got one more question. How to get away the fear? How to get away the fear?
First of all, visualize. Yes, everybody is coming and appreciating. I used to dream that only. Once I complete my talk, I want the audience to come and say, first of all, that ma'am, your saree is so beautiful. You're looking so beautiful, and you narrated so well. I understood so well. Such a wonderful speech you gave. So I used to visualize, and that makes me happy. And of course, the fear will just vanish. Every time, even I used to have fear when I used to sit in the dais as a chief guest. I used to feel that how am I going to speak to this audience? But immediately I've shifted my focus to how I'm going to be after completion of my talk. So that gives me the complete bonus. And of course, fear will be there, but slowly overcome that by getting more and more applause. So every time you speak, you get more and more appreciation. The next speech you'll do better.
Right, great. So with this, let's end the webinar today. And I have shared ma'am's number on the chat as well. So if you have further questions and you want to get answers one-on-one, you can do that and speak to ma'am and or chat. With this, we would like to say thank you to ma'am. Thank you so much for taking up such an important topic and explaining it so beautifully. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you everyone for joining today.
Thank you so
have
much.
a good day. Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.